Joining me now is Superintendent Jack Dale. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, the school board has passed its advertised budget in the ongoing process of developing a final budget that will be done in May. What did they do?
A couple changes from what the recommended was. They kept in some of the salary improvements that we had originally recommended, although we may look at that because employees are saying that they may want to do a step increase instead of a market scale adjustment, but that'll happen in May, not in the interim. The other was to put back in place in the budget the 19 field custodians that really provide substitute responsibilities, or they're responsible for being substitutes for buildings, especially at the elementary level, that have custodians out for illness or leaves, et cetera. So that'll really help some of the workload issues, particularly at the elementary school. Did some placeholders, one for advanced academic teachers, which is kind of an interesting thing that we're in the middle of discussing in our whole advanced academic program, so that'll play out as we go into May. And then the other piece was to put a placeholder in also for early childhood education, which gets complex because we have to work with the county on joint funding, partial funding, different funding, as well as finding places to put kids who are eligible for early childhood fee separ Head Start programs.
Right. Let's just go back to the AAP, half-time AAP resource teachers. Those are going to be placed in elementary schools with a high risk.
Yeah.
Has that been determined how
we would
that
use
will
the,
work?
I think the Ms. Stork who made the motion was intending, and we would agree to use what we call a school composite index, which basically measures or quantifies the number of kids who are not yet passing the standards of learning exams, and so are more at risk of not meeting all of the standards we expect. And then we also are looking at some figures around mobility, because we have kids moving in and out of schools, which cause a challenge for the teaching staff there. So those two factors together would be, quote, our high needs. Every elementary school currently has at least a half-time advanced academic teacher.
Oh, okay.
So we have that in place already, and what the motion would accomplish is to ensure that our highest need schools would have a full-time advanced academic teacher.
I wasn't aware of that. That's interesting. Oh, that's great. And then you did say the placeholder for expanding early childhood education under what's called the FESEP program, which is Family and Early Childhood Program, right, which is really important in the development of kids.
Well, especially, and even President Obama came out in his recent State of the Union speech and recognized the need for early childhood. And you can see that especially in other countries, highly successful countries in the rest of the world, have a fairly involved early childhood education component, either family provided, state provided, or combinations, but there's some assurances that children are well educated when they begin to start their formal schooling. And I say well prepared, not so much educated, but well prepared in not just social skills, but some of the other basic academic skill areas that you need when you walk in the kindergarten door here in the United States.
So the next step for the school board is to present it to our Board of Supervisors, who is our major funder for our budget, and that will happen in April. And along with that, they're also going to present the capital improvement program budget.
Yeah, that'll actually be my last presentation to the Board of Supervisors. It's more of it's a Board of Supervisor work session where we present both the operating and the capital. And the capital is interesting because part of the board's motion on the capital budget was to request an additional $25 million. And what just happened in the last few days is, in response to that overture, if you will, the Board of Supervisors Chair, Sharon Bolova, is putting together, recommending that this Board of Supervisors put together a task force to look at the capital needs, especially of the school system, but also some components in the county. So I can see that now playing into probably a 6, 8, 9 month study for which that could have some impact on the following year capital budget and hopefully enhance it. I think the issue we're facing with our continued enrollment growth is we are running out of spaces to put kids, and I don't think our general community and the Board of Supervisors are aware of how much this challenge is going to be in about 5 to 10 years. Right now we're coping because we have places where we're renovating and putting additions on and some new schools that we've opened. But the long-term effects of our enrollment growth are fairly cumbersome to the capital budget. So we need to jump in and do some major relooks at the funding stream and probably the type of projects that we put into those capital improvement programs.
And we've come across a startling statistic which really puts our needs in perspective. We have 11,500 students in 870 trailers.
Yes, temporary trailers.
Temporary trailers.
Which we move from campus to campus based on need, and the number of trailers is not going down.
Right. And that is the size of Alexandria City School District.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an entire Alexandria City school system in trailers, and that's a thing that you don't see those as much because you put them on the back sides.
Exactly.
And so people in the community who don't have kids at that school probably not as aware of that. But so we got to address that. And the other facility demands that we're seeing, we have some schools for which I'll use Bailey's Elementary School as an example. There is absolutely no place to expand. It's bursting at the seams, and there are more and more kids who want to go to that or moving into that neighborhood to
Right.
go to that school,
Right.
and we have no solution.
Right.
And so people say, well, what's your answer? We don't have one.
Right.
That actually is a crisis right now that we have to resolve. So we're looking at adjacent properties and trying to get people in the community and Board of Supervisor members to help us in the quest of additional properties where we might have to build a new school, or try to take some current schools and structure them more vertically. In Bailey's case, none of those are working right now. So we have some crises, and that's just one example. We're going to
Right.
face more as we look ahead to Tyson's development. That's probably a little longer out there in the horizon. But also out in Reston, we have some brand new developments that have been approved that are going to significantly impact our inability to satisfy the needs of kids in our current physical structures. So we
Right.
need this task force, and I'm glad to see Chairman Bulova recommend that we have 3 Board of Supervisor members, 3 school board members, and of course the staff to support them, begin to look at some of the policy decisions that we must face as a community to maintain our ability to serve the kids in our community.
Right. Well, we'll stay tuned.
Yes.